How to finally compete with pro-level mid-range in your mixes. Next on Music Surgery with me, Dr. Ba. Hey you guys, quickly before we get started, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. And don't forget to check out the Doctor's Lounge, my store, and the links to some great samples below in the description of this video. What separates a good mix from a great mix? A lot of people will say low end, but I say mid-range. In rock and country music, your power, depth, and mastery of the mid-range will make or break your mix. Let me show you a trick that will get your mid-range like you hear it on the radio. Watch this. All right, you guys, the mid bus. Let me play you something without it. I'll play it with it, and then I'll explain what it is and why I do it. Here we go. Okay, so you get it. Country pop chorus, some live drums, some samples, live players. And so what I've done is I've routed the entire track to this bus. So all my track is going to this bus. And I've got separate buses for vocals. I can't play the vocals in this tutorial because the song's not out yet. But what we have is, so my track on all these buses, this tom track is going to my full track. The kick bus, the snare bus, they're all going to this track. And then all of these, and then my track is going to my stereo out, and then all of these different vocals are going to my stereo out, and over here is my stereo out. So that's just my bus structure for this song. But what I have is the mid bus. I'm going to play this track, and then I'm going to gradually bring my mid bus up, and then I'll make it too loud, and we'll talk about it. Okay, what this is, as you can tell, it brings out so much presence, so much warmth, so much of that mid-range stuff that you hear on the radio. And this is kind of my own trick. I've never seen anyone else do this. Now, it's totally possible that it's out there and that I haven't seen it, so I don't necessarily want to take credit for it, even though I just did. What it is I'm coming off of, I've created an effect send like you would a reverb or a delay, and I'm coming off of my track and I'm sending my track to the mid bus. And what the mid bus is I've poked out, I've found a place in the song, in this particular song with this tempo, this arrangement, this instrumentation that I've found enhances that mid range. So I'll sweep around here and I'll show you what I mean. So that feels pretty good to me there. So what I'll do next is I'll make an exact duplicate of this Pro EQ here. So here, I'll bring that down. So I have two in a row. There's the second one. And what I do is I make that dynamic. So as much mid-range as I'm pushing with this EQ into the track, now the dynamics will let it go through and bring it back down. So as you can tell, I mean, I'm probably adding too much, but just for the sake of showing you. So why am I doing this? Well, for one, if I tried to do this on the master bus, then it would also affect my vocals. So what I'm really trying to do here is get a nice big thick track to engulf or couch my vocals in. So obviously I would now mix the vocals on top of this. To taste. But why did I do this? Why am I not EQing? Well, I told you why I'm not EQing the stereo out, because that would affect my vocals too. But what I've learned is that a lot of my heroes were the real start of the mix heroes. Bob Clearmountain. Then after that, the Lord Alge brothers. After that, maybe Sarabin, and go down the list of your favorite guys. And what I found out is, when you're talking about Clearmountain and the Lord Alge brothers, they didn't really have anybody to copy these kind of techniques from. They had to make stuff up on their own. How do I get more mid-range? How do I get things brighter? Let me just put the reverb on the bottom side of the snare. These guys didn't have any YouTube videos to copy, and they didn't really have any heroes to copy. They were kind of the first ones to go, okay, what can I do to mess this track up to make it sound the way I want? And I've tried to adopt that type of mindset. Like, how can I get the kind of mid-range that they're getting on the radio? And this is what I came up with. So, along with copying tricks that I do or I show or any other of these great channels or great mix engineers or producers, think about that mentality like our heroes did. There was nothing to copy, so what can I do to invent more mid-range? What can I do to invent more top end? What can I do to invent more excitement? Or whatever you feel that your track is lacking. But this is a good one. Sweep around, find where you think the mid-range in your track sounds the best. Copy that, and then do a dynamic EQ. So it's pushing into that, but it's bringing it right back down. So it makes it can make a nice pump, but it makes a nice kind of round mid-range thickness to your track. Something that I always wondered how they got that on the radio. I don't know if they're doing it this way or not, but just like my heroes, I'm trying to find things in my mix world that I can get them to sound the way that I want to hear them and that they sound in my head. Well, there you go. The mid-bus. Dial it up to taste and thicken up your mix in a way that you've never been able to before. Thanks as always for watching. Give me some comment love and a thumbs up below, and hit me at drbobmusicsurgery@gmail.com if you want to say hello or you want me to work on your music. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you the next time the doctor's in.